Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for continuing to join us for our talk about the Gauntlet and Panic in the Sewers. So, what do you guys remember about the Gauntlet?
Well, in my case, of course, this is the big episode where they finally fought Shredder face to face.
The big guy comes out, finally. All these stupid monsters leading him to the epic man himself, the Shredder.
Yes, so we finally get the first two mutants that we've been seeing in the opening Dog Pound and Fish Face.
And then again, like the stupid commercials. I remember the commercials kept showing that short clip with Pigeon Pete, and I kept thinking, I'm confused. Isn't this supposed to be the week where it's about the Shredder? Why are they after a pigeon guy? I'm so confused.
Yeah. Well, the name of Pete the Pigeon came from the episode What is Michelangelo Good For? Because if you remember that episode, Michelangelo had a pigeon that he was taking care of, and he gave it the name of Pete. And Raphael's like, Pete the Pigeon. Seriously.
I remember. I have to check my DVD collections. I really hope I have that old episode. That was one of the good ones.
Yeah, it definitely was. Because you get to really see, like, how Michelangelo could really be a excellent fighter, or can really think really well on his own without his brothers, or rather his friends, since none of the turtles are related in the OT.
Yeah, it's just weird though, because in the old cartoon, Mikey never really did anything all that dumb or all that incompetent, but yet they still kind of acted or treated him like the dumb one. Or Raphael would always make kind of like those, he's the dumb one kind of jokes or something like that. But he never actually, because like whenever he has to do something, whenever it's up to him, he still does, good and not whatever, And he does everything in a kind of like, whoa, dude kind of way, but not like the 2013 Mikey that's still trying hard not to space out and everything. I mean, of course, we have seen Michelangelo be competent when we need him to be, when it's riding on him, but of course he still does it in his kind of
stupid way.
Yeah, trying not to space out kind of way.
Yeah, and Michelangelo in his version really does care. I mean, he has a childlike optimism with everything almost, but not to the same extent as like some other versions of his character.
Well, like Splinter says, yes, Michelangelo has its own challenges too.
Yeah, so beginning the episode, we have April leaving her apartment. I know it's supposed to be her aunt's apartment, but in Mutation Situation, we see her still living in the same location. So odds are it's probably like her aunt is saying, "Oh yeah, well you could stay in the house where you were living with your father, and I will check in from time to time or something."
I don't know. For all we know, April doesn't even have an aunt, and she's just lying to the turtles. She just met them, and it's like, I'm not going to tell them I live alone. I live with my aunt.
Like, oh yeah, my aunt said I could live here as long as I want.
And then when she goes shopping, it's like, aren't you, like, a little young to be shopping by yourself? And she's like, no, do you think I'm really going to be shopping by myself without my aunt? I don't think so. Like at Home Alone. But yeah, her non-existent aunt, it's like, we can't afford a CGI for a random extra female character.
What was that one episode that created a random character and they could just use it for something completely different?
I forgot.
It was the most random character and they could use like that. I think it was that kid with the mutagen lamp. The little kid was like, oh my gosh, a lamp. And Leo kept following the kid, unless that was a comic.
No, that was the cartoon.
Yeah, so they made a whole new character for that, and they could use it for Chrome Dome. I think that's what that thing was.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Paige was like, oh great, so they couldn't afford a new character model for Chrome Dome, but they could afford to make this random little girl out of nowhere.
And she's probably going to be only in that scene, and then the rest of the time you would ever see her is like in the background, like, oh, what's going on? A big alien invasion's happening. Or she gets mutated.
Who knows? I mean, she might have a part later on.
You know what? The thing about the Turtles is that it's almost going to be like The Simpsons in the way that whenever there's a pizza guy, it's going to be that same kid. Whenever there's a random dude, it's going to be that same guy with the cat. Like, they're building a small cast of characters. It's always going to be the same homeless guy and the same cops and the same random blonde woman and all these random people, same little dog. That same Shredder dog is a rare breed, and yet someone else owns them.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with that old show, Dinosaurs or something. They had that one show where they had a sitcom where all the characters were dinosaurs, and it was kind of like in a Flintstones thing, but all the characters were anthropomorphic dinosaurs.
I remember. Yeah, all the extras were the same puppets with like wigs or different clothing, and you're supposed to like, wink wink, ignore that they're the same puppets. I remember that. But anyways, to start the episode, April's walking out of wherever she claims to be living with, and she's followed by a giant mutant bird of some kind that's chasing her everywhere.
Well, yeah, she senses like something's watching her or following her, and she looks behind her, and then you see Pete on top of the building, and yeah, he looks kind of threatening and whatnot, and of course she gets scared and she runs off, and one of the places she hides is in a bank, and the pigeon slams into the glass, and no one seems to care.
Oh yeah, I remember that. No one like really turned or anything.
Well, I think maybe there were a few gasps, but then they're like, there's never like, what the hell is that, or something, because you would...
Well, it's New York City. They're used to seeing Ghostbusters and Spider-Man fighting a Juggernaut every other week, so giant pigeon probably doesn't scare them that much.
Yes, apparently New York has its own universe where nothing seems to affect the rest of the country. I mean, so they can have an alien attack and no one will care.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. They would have had news or something featuring that worldwide or something, but
The president should send the military into New York just because of that whole Technodrome thing.
Well, they probably would have been like, oh my god, alien invasion! Where? In New York! Oh, yeah, that's just Tuesday for them. Oh, yeah, sorry, what was I thinking? I'm sorry. So then we cue the epic intro, and then after that, we start with the actual episode. I think April's going back to the Turtles, telling them about it or something.
Well, this is where the epic smoke bombs come in.
Yeah, well, Leo and Raph are training in the dojo when Donnie comes in and says like, "Hey guys, I made smoke bombs," and they're like, "Oh wow, cool!" And he even explains how he made them, which was like he carefully drilled a hole in an egg and then blew out the contents and let it dry, and then he sealed one end with wax, filled it with flash powder, sealed the other end in wax, and instant smoke bombs.
This gives me a good YouTube video idea, right, Mark?
About smoke bombs?
Yeah, how to make them.
Oh, jeez. Assuming all that really works in real life, even if you follow instructions.
Hey, that would be a good Easter project. It's like ninja Easter eggs.
And the whole funny part about it is Mikey discovers it by accident when he was gonna make omelet.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that Mikey basically becomes Nightcrawler, so to speak.
Yeah, he like gets really excited about the fact that Donnie had created these smoke bombs, so he's like gleefully using them, and he even climbs up on Donatello's back and kisses him at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Well,
I
yeah.
just love that whole scene, I should say, especially the Splinter part. Whenever he's like, "We need help, let me go get Splinter." Shh. Mikey has told me that you needed help.
But I also like that Donnie's making, ninja stuff too, because, I mean, ninjas have always used smoke bombs, so it's pretty cool seeing him actually invent actual ninja-related stuff too, and not just, wacky pizza makers and things like that,
Yeah, and Raph has little patience when it comes to the actual science part, because he's like, blah, blah, science, blah, blah, because that as his way of translating what he's hearing. Like, I don't care, what do you have? Because you're obviously going to tell me anyway.
So I think now April runs in or something, right? And tells them that she's chased by,
Well, yeah, she wanders in and she's like, "I'm being chased by a humongous mutant pigeon," and Raph is the only one who finds that hilarious.
Yeah.
I like that part.
Everybody, he's like, "Seriously, a big bird," or something like that. I don't even remember what he said exactly.
Nobody finds that funny. Wow. And then, they keep talking about, he laughs some more, everyone keeps looking, he's like, "Just me? Really?"
In one of the fanfics I wrote, I had mentioned that when April moved into the lair, there was one point where Mikey comes in to greet her, and unfortunately, he forgets that girls are different from boys. So you think you can just, hop in and say, "Hi!"
And Mikey became a man.
And of course, that gets her to scream, and the other three like come in to see what's going on and get a good look of her standing in nothing but her underwear.
Well, for people that don't understand that, just look up hentai, you'll know all about it. Anyways, back to the story. He rated G because, would somebody please think of the children?
And Donnie is like, oh, there's some hideous creature wanting to attack my April.
My April. Our April. Yeah, April.
Yeah, well, based on Venka's fanfic, she's everybody's April, sounded like.
Oh, I can't wolf whistle. There we go.
Yeah, and April's like looking at him like, excuse me? Like, she knows he has a crush on her, but still, it's...
Well, I like that part too where, like, they gotta seek him out or something. Donnie suggests they use her as bait. And Mikey's like, whoa, no way, I thought you liked her. She's like, yeah, I thought you did, or something.
Well, they know the pigeon's after her, so naturally she needs to be bait.
But I don't know why. When I heard her, because she always like, ignores him or whatever, but that random line where like Mikey says that and she's like agreeing with it, I keep thinking to myself, oh, so you acknowledge that he likes you when it suits you, huh?
Well, I think she's kind of appreciates the fact that he does like her, but she's doesn't really know how to deal with.
She's pretty much creeped out. Just say it that way. She's pretty much creeped out, but she tries to go with it, just live with it.
I don't think creeped out. It's more like, yeah, you're pushing this a little too far. I barely know you. Like, I like you as a friend, but I barely know you enough. And I'm not interested in a boyfriend right now.
And it's like, Donnie, where's your hand?
Okay, stop being perverted here. God! From hentai to this. Oh, jeez. G-rated, please.
Yes, there are probably children listening.
Then don't look up hentai.
And while you're at it, do not look up yaoi, yuri, or yif.
The Krang has found a topic which humans are calling the yaoi is not pleasing to the eyes of the Krang. Oh my god, what is the Krang doing to the Krang?
No, that which they call turtle cest is not pleasing to the eyes of the Krang.
Anyways, back on topic. Let me see. So what happens next after that?
They go out and April has to do this whole hammy routine where she's saying, oh, look at me! I hope some mutant pigeon doesn't attack me, or whatnot. And Donnie's like, that's not how bait talk. And April says, well, how do you know what bait talks? And Donnie then says, I know bait doesn't talk back.
And Mike's like, oh no, he didn't.
Well, all of them were like, wow. Like, you just stuck your foot in it. So he gets her to do the routine again, and then seconds later, the pigeon attack.
And distant turtles are ready for him. They tackle them down and everything. And then we find out that it's not a vicious evil monster, it's just everyone's favorite character, Pigeon Pete.
Yeah, it was Pete the Pigeon, and he says, I was a guest of the Krang, and I was also with her father, and I'm here to deliver a message from her father.
Hold on, stop right there. This is finally a reference to the father, the forgotten father, the neglected side plot that is April's father. I had to mention that. They finally mentioned him, but we should really keep count of how many times they actually mention April's father in the series.
I mean, I would turn it into a drinking game, but no one would get drunk.
They sort of mention it in Turtle Temper, where Donnie says, like, she's a girl whose father was kidnapped, and the people who kidnapped him are going to be attacking this facility.
And they would waste time fighting with a fat dude.
Oh, those Kung Fu frogs?
Yep.
Oh, see how much I remember what the episodes are.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the next episode, she's hanging out in the lair like it's normal.
Yeah, it is normal.
Yep.
My father was kidnapped. I'm hanging with turtles.
Yep, giant
Every
rat
day.
dude. No one ever told me about the rat dude, but he cool.
He cool.
I think it's because all the other incarnations, we have a first reaction between Splinter and April, and they wanted the first reaction to be with someone else, like Casey, for example. Because Casey Jones in this incarnation has a fear of rats. So seeing Splinter would be nightmare come true.
I don't even think Casey Jones ever saw Splinter in the old 80s cartoon. I don't remember.
Well, no, not in the 80s cartoon, because he wasn't there often enough. But yeah, in the other incarnations, he's like, oh, giant rat. Cool.
So, let me see. So, April's father left a message or something about the Krang planning something big or something that the Turtles got us. Oh, no. They wanted April to leave the city because the Krang were planning something so dangerous it was going to affect the whole city. And he wanted April to be out of there so she could be safe,
Yeah, her dad said, honey, if you get this, the Krang plan something really big and terrible, and I need you to get out of the city as fast as you can. And
Yeah, now don't tell your aunt, don't tell your friends or neighbors, just you. You go. I don't care if everyone else you know gets screwed, and that other guy, because I owe him like $5. That guy with the cat, I owe him $5. Don't tell him. But just you. As long as you're out of the city, we're good. Who cares about your aunt, your friends, teacher, whatever, my wife? No, just tell them all to go.
well, her mother's dead, but we don't know that at this point.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They didn't say that till that time.
Yeah, but we know she is just living with her father pretty much. It's it's kind of like how Disney shows where the mother or the father is either abducted by aliens or dead.
It really sucks that we never got to see them hang out normally just for that. In one episode, they're just walking down the street at night, don't know why, randomly. And then after that, we never see them together because even that other episode, when he's back home safe, he's still pretty messed up and traumatized and whatever. So we never really get to see them just hanging normally and happily without a care in the world before this or that happened.
And that's what I thought was kind of ironic about Mutation Situation because yeah, he's suffering from PTSD. That's understandable. But it was the turtles who looked after and took care of April the entire time he was in captivity. So if he could trust her with anyone, it would be the turtles and Splinter.
True, but now he knows all that weird junk's all around him, so...
That's true, but still, they were the ones protecting her from the Krang, so he could trust her to be with the turtles.
Well, yeah, but he could also think that, oh my god, if something happens to my daughter, it'll take them all season to save her.
We don't know how much that trust will extend now, since he was pretty pissed off at the fact the turtles were responsible for his mutation.
Well, we'll have to see how it goes. I don't know.
So, anyways, so Donnie's like, okay, we need to get you out of the city right away. And April's like, hell no, I'm not anywhere without my dad.
And then they all plan to go to the Krang place and try to get her dad.
Yeah, and interesting enough, a foot soldier was listening to them, and he reports it to Zever and Bradford, and...
It's like, don't mind me, I'm just a creepin'. Just a foot ninja creepin'. I totally won't tell Zever and Chris about this, just ignore me.
We don't know exactly, how Bradford and Chris actually learned the turtles were going to be at the Wolf Hotel later, because we just saw them get the information just before they went to the facility where Kirby was being held.
Well, they could have been trailing them all that time. I don't know.
Maybe they could have been watching and saying, okay, they're heading over there.
Yeah, let's get them. No, wait. Let's see what they're up to first. Let's follow them or something like that. I don't know.
Or you never think about attacking the girl who's with them because, Leonardo says go to the lair where it's safe.
Oh, yeah, but then, isn't this the part also where we see, Sever... No, wait a minute.
What?
Isn't this a scene also where Chris gets bitten by a familiar-looking dog?
Oh, yes. Yeah, he gets bitten by Hachiko, which was actually named after another dog in Japanese history. The story of Hachiko is kind of sad. It's this dog that was adopted by a man in the early 1900s and 1920s, 1930s, and every day, like clockwork, he would go meet his master at Shibuya Station.
Oh, I think I know that one.
I heard either I heard that story exactly or a similar story like that the dogs are so loyal they think the person will come back even though they passed away. They'll sit at a bus stop or they'll wait somewhere. I heard stories like that before.
I didn't know that was based on Hachiko though. But anyways, yes, epic foreshadowing as Chris Bradford gets bitten by a familiar-looking dog, and later on we see Sever buying a big fish, what was it called? Snake eel fish, something like that.
Yeah, so the turtles break into the facility, and first they want to find out what the Krang's plans are, so they break into the computer area so Johnny can figure it out, and they leave Mikey with him.
That's all kinds of smart.
Yeah, and Donnie's like, why am I stuck with Mikey? I'm always stuck with Mikey. And Leo's like, well, I'm leader and I don't want him.
That shows like how no one wants to be teamed up with him because he's not that brilliant and he'll mess things up. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's like, in the corner, stand over there, don't touch anything.
Isn't that the scene where Mikey's trying to touch all the buns and Donnie keeps trying to shove them away or something?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he like starts to touch them, and Donnie grabs his hand and says, "Don't touch anything."
Like how like a mother and father does to like a little kid. Don't touch. Like and the little kid still tries to touch the button.
Well, yeah, because kids like to play with stuff. And so Mikey's like, "Ooh, what does that one do? I don't know. What does that one do? I don't know."
Oh god, like Mikey's out of my laboratory.
Yeah, and then it's like, "Ooh, that one's pretty." And Donnie like slams his fist in frustration onto the console, and that somehow that gets it to activate.
Huh.
That was the thing that like
Dumb luck.
that was what set her father free or something, right?
No, I think that was like an alarm system or something. I don't even remember now.
Yeah, and we don't see much about what the plans are, but we just know that it has something to do with a building with the word wolf on it, which of course is a reference to the OT series.
Were they going to use a mutagen bomb on the city? They were going to use a mutagen bomb on the city, weren't they? That was their plan. That was going to mutate everybody.
Yeah, but we didn't see the plans initially until Donnie tells us. Yeah, we just see like the wolf building and he looks at it and goes, "Oh no."
It's like, this reminds me of an 80s cartoon at least.
Well, of course, because Wolf Hotel was like kind of like a reference to the Fred Wolf series, and a lot of the buildings in this show are named after people who have been involved with the series over time. Like, for example, we get the Byerly building later on, which of course is reference to Kevin Byerly.
And of course, Murakami.
Yes, Murakami, after Glenn Murakami, but also slight reference to or James Murakami, I believe, from the OT series.
So then I remember that April's father gets a gun and starts blasting everything at hero style. But someone should put a screen cap of that with April's father with the gun. And that would be like, April's father became a man. A brand new movie. It's like, coming this summer, Take No Prisoners, starring Kirby O'Neill.
Yeah, while they're escaping, he grabs one of the blasters that happens to land near him, and he says, "Protect my daughter, save the city." And he starts like firing to give the turtles a chance to escape, and Donnie's like, "We can't just leave him because like this could be like his one chance to save April's dad." And Leo's like, "We don't have a choice."
The season's not over yet.
We gotta forget about him a little bit longer.
Yeah, and April can only watch in horror as her father's taken once again into custody, and the first thing she does is she runs into Don's arms, and he, like, maturely says, "We'll get him back, I promise."
It might take half a season, but we will get him back.
Well, it might take till the end of the season, but we will get him back, yes.
Yes, we have more toys and characters to introduce and sell.
Yeah, I remember Dawn Safore in one of her reviews, she said, like, when Donnie shows his mature side in the relationship rather than the love-starved puppy side, which is normal or atypical throughout the first season, she actually begins to appreciate the Don O'Neill pairing a little better. So it's like, so what if he's a turtle? She's lucky to have him.
Yeah, despite what all the other animals activist groups might not agree with.
Unfortunately, we are starting to see less of love-starved puppy Donnie and more mature Donnie. And while we are on the topic of Don O'Neill, we know we have like that triangle between Casey, like, because while Donnie and Casey have not officially met as of yet, Donnie is clearly aware that Casey exists. And there was like that one part in Mutagen and Man Unleashed, which kind of added to my theory that the triangle is supposed to mirror that is supposed to mirror the Splinter Rokusaki Tenshin relationship. I mean, some people I know some people think that doesn't make sense because Casey and Donnie aren't exactly friends in this incarnation, but they don't have to be friends just for that to happen. They can Like, all it takes is, like, maybe Splinter to notice some action on the part of either boy and realize, okay, this isn't good. And we've sort of had that early on, like, for example, like that one moment in Mugen Man Unleashed where Donnie is, like, actually ranting about how April obviously likes Casey because Casey's a human and whatnot, and Splinter comes in and says, Donatello, would you like to join me for a private lesson?
Well, it depends on what happens and how they meet and everything.
Well, yeah, but Rob Paulson himself has actually said they would have like kind of a frenemies like relationship. They would, as in, yeah, they will openly admit that the other has their uses and are okay guys. But when it comes to April, they both wish the other person would take a one-way trip to the moon.
Well, I kind of think that Casey's going to probably run into them in some kind of situation that, from his point of view, it looks like the Turtles are ganging up on April or attacking her, and then he just jumps in, I'll save you from them, and the typical, no, they're my friends kind of situation.
Like, no, she comes between them and says, like, Casey, these are the friends I told you about. And, like, we are supposed to get an epic fight between Casey and Raphael, so that should be interesting.
We'll have to see how that works out.
So, getting back to the story at hand, the Turtles all leave the crank facility. Leo tells April to go to the lair where it's safe, and the Turtles all go to the Wolf building to stop the mutagen bomb, and there's like this whole epic scene where you see them firing arrows at the Krang droids, and each of the arrows have like these little firecrackers attached to them, and that was like epically choreographed and really done really well. And but then when they open the explosive, Dawn's like, no, I can't deal with this. I can't, like, I wasn't expecting something this complex. And Leo's like, what were you expecting? A round ball with a lit fuse and the word bomb written on it? It's alien technology.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a silly bomb joke. I have notes to remember, like what I want to mention on the podcast, and it says bomb joke. I guess I was like trying to figure out what the quote unquote bomb joke was until you reminded me. Like, oh, that's what the bomb joke is. I love that. It's like little black ball with a little string.
Exactly. But, and that kind of is sort of I guess you could kind of take that as a reference to, like, that one episode where, or that one, point in the Mirage comics where they have to deal with that militia group.
I wouldn't remember that part, though.
Well, essentially there's a militia group and they have a nuclear bomb with them, and Raphael is like, okay, Donnie can go take care of the bomb, and Donnie's like, hell no, I haven't dealt with a explosive like that before, so I don't know if I can actually undo it. So the best thing we can do now is run for the hills, and Raph starts calling him out for being a coward. And in the end, Donnie does deactivate the bomb, but he doesn't really deactivate it. He removes the plutonium core, so that way it detonates, but it doesn't affect a huge area.
I didn't read that one, so I'm not sure. I mostly read most of the Mirage ones that dealt with the Shredder and stuff, because I always found that more interesting. When they deviate from that, I don't really read that much of the issues.
It was also in the 2003 series. It was that episode called H-I-A-T-E, Hate.
I think I might have seen something like that. I kind of spaced in between some of the seasons. I blame Mexico. I like how they only aired season 1 and 2, and then skipped straight to Fast Forward and back to the sewers. Screw anyone wondering who the hell Bishop was and why the Turtles were confused that he was a good guy in the future, without even seeing him act as a bad guy in the normal series.
Exactly, or Donnie mentioning that his DNA gets scrambled, and then when you finally see that episode where he turns into a monster, it's like, oh, that's why.
And then, well, not just that, but then season 2 ended with the Turtles winning at the Battle Nexus or something, but you see the planet Earth surrounded by Triceratops ships or something. And it's like, what happens after that? The turtles go to the future! Yeah, you didn't miss anything in between. I still wonder if they probably should have brought Turtles Forever by now. But anyways, let me see what happens. So the turtles defeat the Krang, and I think isn't there like a countdown timer on the bomb or something?
Yeah, they said it was like going to go off in 5 minutes, and Donnie's like complaining, like, I wasn't expecting something this complex. And of course, Leo's pressuring him to, well, you need to deal with this because you're the only one who can.
And
much pressure.
And to complicate things, of course, Chris and Sever show up.
And this is where, again, Mikey's pure stupidness, stupid brilliance comes in. And he says, cut the green one. In which Don is like, screw it, I'll cut the green one, or whatever color it was. And that was the right one.
Yeah, he was like down to 2 wires, black or green, and Mikey says, go for the green!
And somehow he was right. That was pure stupid luck right there. And like, Donnie's like, Mikey was right!
You're welcome! That's the second time Mikey has actually unintentionally saved the day in this episode.
And then the bad guys finally get defeated, and they're cornered by the turtles and everything.
Yeah, and Bradford gets the bright idea of like, oh, well, this device must be explosive, so if we're going out, we'll take the turtles with us. And he stabs the thing, and they go flushing off in a river of mutagen.
And drum roll, please. After this happens, and they think the turtles think, "Yay, we conquered them!" Something bad happens. The nightmare comes.
What I found interesting about this scene is like they're walking away, and then they suddenly pause seconds before Shredder starts talking, and I was starting to wonder if this was either a fluke on the ADR director's part, or possibly their heightened ninja awareness like suddenly sensed there was like a dark presence in the area. Because it would have made sense for them to pause the moment Shredder starts speaking, not seconds before he starts speaking.
Their turtle senses were tingling. They knew something was coming, and it was.
I guess it's possibly their heightened awareness sensed a dark presence or something. And Shredder's like, I find it interesting my old enemy has taught ninjutsu to 4 mutant turtles. Perhaps I'll let one of you live long enough to tell it.
If I was Shredder, I'd be like, what the hell? What the heck is going on here? Why turtles? Why? I'd be like, if I was Shredder, I'd be like, why stoop so low to turtles? Teaching turtles ninjas. I can't say the word.
Well, the Shredder knows they are turtles because Bradford and Zever have reported that,
But thinking so little, I don't know. Never mind, ignore my comment.
But I guess he's probably like, they're turtles, they're supposed to be slow as fudge.
Only she didn't say fuck.
Ho, ho, ho.
You know I'm going to bleep you out for that one?
But
It would be like the phone call, like it's like hello, Mark's mom? Yes, what is it? Do you know what Venka said? What? She said, what?
Hey, what did I do? What did I do?
I felt bad because miles away I knew that Venka was getting hers.
Just remember, just shoot your eye out. We have to do some, the Christmas story references here. Come on. We might have to put soap in your mouth now, Venka. What do you prefer?
I censored myself.
That's still inappropriate stuff, Venka.
It's a very
still inappropriate.
It's an inappropriate use of chocolate.
Slow as fudge?
Fudge is very
Oh my god, and she keeps
inappropriate.
saying it too. Oh my god, my ears are turning red.
We might have to fire you.
You're making me blush with that foul language, Venka.
Yeah, but if you fire me, then there is no show.
We'll make it. It'll probably turn into Turtle / Nancy Drew / comics / everything else too, but...
I will have Gauntlet do it. She'll come home from whatever her hiatus was about, and we got this huge stack of papers. Here's Gauntlet. Here's Judge of the show. You're in charge now. This is all the scripture behind on. Get to work.
Yes, Don's LaForey with special guests Mark and Paige.
Like, what happened to Venka? Oh, she was a potty mouth. She just had to go.
Well, getting back on topic, the Shredder attacks them, and like Braff attacks first. He gets thrown into the wolf sign, and epically electrocuted.
When the evil Shredder attacks, he doesn't give the turtles no slack.
My brain just turned into cheese.
Leo takes on the Shredder and he gets his shell whooped.
Well, if they all get their shells whooped.
I didn't notice this until later. Like the Technodrome forums pointed it out that like if you freeze the frames of Shredder beating up the turtles, they actually almost look like the frames during when Shredder fought the turtles in the first issue of the Mirage comic.
It was supposed to, actually.
But I was like, wow, it was so fast I didn't even catch the reference. And I didn't even notice that when Shredder landed with his arms out like that, it was basically like the Mirage pose. The only thing missing is the whole, I am here, come and face your doom!
And then, of course, offering the Shredder the option of committing seppuku.
Well, yeah. But this Shredder obviously won't do that. Yeah, that would be funny. Little Baxter cameo when Shredder says, come and face your doom. Baxter could be like, how come when he says it, it's awesome?
Exactly. And we also see a Dawn and Leo fighting in tandem at one point during the battle, which is actually kind of interesting. It seems that Donnie's more effective as a fighter when he's fighting alongside one of his brothers, not fighting by himself.
Yes, and of course, well, this also brings the moral of the story, because I think we forgot to mention this earlier. The Turtles were getting way too confident and cocky now, and Spencer was warning them about that earlier in the episode, and they were convinced because of how easily they would defeat this and that. And even here, before Shredder showed up, they were like, yeah, we beat up the Krang, we beat up Chris and Bradford, we turned off a bomb and saved the whole city. Yeah, we're not overconfident, we're just that good.
And this is the lesson of the show. Like how they always do the lessons, like for the comic books, there's always a lesson that ends up always being like what would you call it?
Moral?
The moral of the comic, the way they figure out the problem, the issue they got into. That's like the way to get out of the issue. Like last comic was patience. How they use patience to defeat a monster. So the moral of the story: don't be cocky, and they were cocky. And they lost to Shredder. So they always have like morals to show that get later really shows itself to why it's moral to show. If you know what I mean. It's really hard to explain it.
They did try to escape the Shredder at one point, or early on in the battle. It's like, holy shit, we don't know how to handle this guy just yet. And so Mikey attempts to throw a smoke bomb, and it turns out to be an actual egg.
Yep, he just wasted them all, goofing off.
Yeah, it would have been more ironic if he had, like, reached for one and he went like, hey, wait, oh no, all out of eggs, rather than that one egg that wasn't made into a smoke bomb just yet.
Well, Mikey was actually kind of useful when he had Shredder tied up over the side of the building, though. That was probably the most useful attack move between all the Turtles in that particular fight. It's just that, of course, Shredder was able to pull out yet another blade and cut himself loose, because apparently he got 3 blades there, like one that comes up from the middle.
So he has 6 blades in total.
Yeah.
Like, anyone who thinks the Ninja Turtles are stupid and just a bunch of bathroom humor and whatnot, show them this fight. Just simply show this fight to show how epic the Turtles can be.
So basically, the Turtles are 100% and completely outmatched. They can't even lay a finger on him because he's just too damn awesome. And Shredder's about to finish him off until suddenly Chris and Sever show up, now as a mutant dog.
The Doggy Park
Yes.
and Fishy Face.
Yes, and a mutant fish that's gasping for air. And the split second that takes Shredder to be confused and like, Chris? Sever? That's when the Turtles take their chance to exit stage left.
Insert Shredder making Darth Vader know here.
But I do have to say that considering how much of an asshole Shredder is supposed to be, I'm surprised that he took the time to actually pick up Sever, I would assume, I don't know, put him in a glass bowl or something and take him all the way back to the hideout or something. I don't know.
Maybe he thinks there is still probably some use for them, but yeah.
Because honestly, he would just, I mean, like, Chris, can you walk? Yeah. Sever, well, sucks for you. We don't need you anymore. You've outlived your usefulness.
He pretty much
walk off and leave him there.
Oh, well, he pretty much kind of like, it was like, I'm giving up on you later in the episode because he couldn't do anything because he was stuck in that little swimming pool thing.
Yeah. But still, it's like I don't see Shredder having the patience to pick him up or whatever and take him back to his hideouts. Like, I don't see him bothering to do so.
They're still like, yeah, I don't know what happened and I don't care what happened. It's just, I just simply do not care. I'm more interested in killing Hamato Yoshi rather than investigating this.
You know, now in hindsight, it does sound more like, I don't know.
And also what I found weird is like we see all that mutagen going down the building and only Zever and Chris are mutated. You think that stuff was spilling into the street or maybe hitting some random stuff.
I never even considered that. Like, I never thought, oh my gosh, there's like a waterfall of mutagen just in the middle of the city. Oh well. Who cares? Let's get to the next episode.
That would suck because because that's gonna leave a mess in the city. They're gonna send people to clean it up sooner or later, like the health department or whatever. They're all gonna get mutated just touching the stuff.
Oh well, let's get to the next episode and not care about it.
Because what do you know? You don't know you're not supposed to physically touch it. You're just gonna mop it up. And, oops, got some on me. Oh my crap! I'm a giant.
I'll be a giant kitty cat.
I'm a puggle now.
I'll be a giant kitty cat because I was petting my cats earlier.
Well, obviously it does affect organic matter, not non-organic matter, for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't like the mutagen from that show. The mutagen from the '80s show is a bit better.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure they'll probably explain more about what the mutagen is, even if it's just to help Donnie make the retro mutagen. But still, we should have had more of an explanation as to what the mutagen is and how it works, rather than it being, oh, it's just random and unstable.
Yeah, because it's just, I don't know. Like in the old show, it would have been like what Paige says. She pets a cat and turns into a cat girl or something. But this new version, I don't want. That's gross. You're gonna probably turn into a weird cat with lots of extra spikes and two tails or other weird crap that I don't know. It just makes it look so weird because it's like the Turtles and Splinter are the only ones that were mutated perfectly without like any weird extra deformity or whatever, and everyone else gets weird stuff. Because even Dog Pound has all these extra bony spikes coming out of its body and stuff. And then like what's his name? Sever. There's no reason why he wouldn't mutate, like, legs. I mean, it's just so weird. It's so weird and unpredictable.
Fish don't have legs, Mark.
Well, they don't have arms either, and he still had arms. It's just weird.
Well,
he was definitely screwed when it came to mutations.
That's gonna bug me. I wonder if I swear there's a fish with something arms.
So anyways, I think the episode ends with the Turtles back into there with Splinter feeling, like, you know, bad, and their morale is down and everything, and...
Yeah, like... Donnie's failed April, and April's like all bummed out because now that the Shredder is a threat, she has even less opportunity to find her father. Like, aliens have her dad, and now the Turtles have to deal with something else, which means her dad is once again put on the back burner.
Isn't that the episode where it ends with Splinter declaring that they're at war now? Epic zoom in. For now, my sons, we are at war! Turn black and white now. Yeah. Do that awesome black and white effect on my face. Thank you.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, should we end this part here, though, so that's not too long, though?
Yeah, I think us and the viewers need a break. A little commercial break.
So grab some hot chocolate and don't shoot your eye out. We'll be right back, guys.